representing a return to its corporate roots is the Volvo V90 estate. While the XC90 SUV may have stolen the limelight in recent years, at heart the Swedish marks an estate car specialist, with decades of wagon-building prestige to its name. However, the last couple of V70 offerings haven't been the most inspiring, so this new model, resurrecting the V90 badge, has a hard task ahead if it wants to make a good impression. To add to that challenge, it's pitched as a premium alternative to the German trio of Audi A6 Avant, BMW 5 Series Touring and Mercedes-Benz A-Class estate. Not everyone wants an estate, of course, and for those buyers is the close ally-related Volvo S90 Saloon. Based on same platform as the XC90, the V90 has been given a solid foundation. It's based on the same scalable product architecture SP underpinnings as the larger XC90, and will feature 2.0-liter, 4-cylinder engines also used by the SUV. Immediately recognizable are the shaped LED headlights and large swathes of the cockpit. There's a lot borrowed from the XC90, which is a good thing, as it's a great car. The way it drives is similar too. Volvo calls this relaxed confidence, and it's a refreshing change from the sporty pretensions of its German rivals. It's no driver's car, but there's plenty of confidence-inspiring traction aligned with a quiet, comfortable ride, providing you opt for the adaptive suspension package. Familiar engines powering the V90 are two diesels, called D4 and D5 Power Pulse. Although other markets also get a T6 petrol, this is unlikely to come to Britain, but we should see the petrol-electric plug-in hybrid T8 in due course. All engines are 4-cylinder, 2.0-liter turbocharged units and boast impressive economy figures. The D5 features an innovative power pulse system that helps spool up the turbocharger at low revs for faster throttle response. And it makes the V90 feel more spontaneously powerful than you'd expect from a big diesel estate. It's the D4 that's the cheapest to run, with official claims of 62.8 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 119 gkm. High-tech safety kit, safety and space are the main selling points of this car, but it impresses more on the former count. You get a 560-liter boot that expands to 1,526 liters with the seats down, and loads of head and legroom for all inside. It's decent, but rivals are considerably bigger, and Volvophiles would doubtless lament the absence of a vertical tailgate to boost capacity. As well as a large Senses touchscreen in the center console, which replaces a huge number of functions and buttons from around the cabin, you also get a set of digital dials and a raft of driver assistance equipment. Standard features include Pilot Assist, which takes care of the throttle, steering and brakes from traffic jams all the way up to cruising speed, plus a sophisticated crash avoidance system that can spot pedestrians, cyclists and large animals in front of the car, day or night. Volvo V90 estate model history: March 2016, new estate car range to replace the Volvo V70, available to order for delivery in the second half of 2016. Two powertrains are available, each with a 2.0-liter diesel engine. D4 is front-wheel drive, while D5 Power Pulse has all-wheel drive as standard. There's a pair of well-appointed trim levels, too, in the forms of the entry-level Momentum and the luxurious Inscription. June 2016, sportier design specification now available to order with both the D4 and D5 Power Pulse AWD powertrains. Key visual differences include a gloss black grille, a deeper front spoiler and matte dark gray alloy wheels. September 2016, aftermarket Polestar performance optimization package optionally available, uprating the D5 Power Pulse to 240 horsepower and 500 Nm of torque. November 2016, safety enhancements with the introduction of Slippery Road Alert and Hazard Light Alert. Information is shared with a data cloud that's similar like Quickcar's download and present to the driver. December 2016, multimedia system now compatible with Android Auto and Skype for Business. Read the full Volvo V90 estate review to see why we rate the latest Swedish wagon so highly. Efficient pair of turbocharged diesels, no performance versions on the horizon, plug-in hybrid T8 version to follow, powered by a pair of diesel engines. Volvo V90 performance is ample rather than outstanding. No petrol versions are offered in the UK, but the marque is expected to introduce its T8 petrol-electric plug-in hybrid to the range at a later date. Efficient diesel engines regardless of which V90 you pick, the power plant is a 4-cylinder, 2.0-liter, turbocharged unit. First up is the more frugal of the two, the front-wheel drive D4, producing 190 horsepower and 400 Nm of torque from a satisfactorily low 1,750 revolutions per minute. So far it's proving the most popular choice. Top speed is quoted at 140 miles per hour, while the 062 miles per hour dash takes 8.5 seconds, so it's no slouch, but there's an alternative if you want to go quicker. That's the role of the D5 Power Pulse AWD all-wheel drive, courtesy of its 235 horsepower and 480 Nm outputs. Top speeds increased to 145 miles per hour, while the sprint from 062 miles per hour is a hot hatch like 7.2 seconds. The D5's important addition is that power pulse function, helping cut down on the slight delays sometimes felt on turbocharged engines. It compresses air into a storage cylinder that is then used to spin the turbo into action when there are insufficient exhaust gases to do so, making the V90 much more responsive. It's a lighter, cheaper system than the electronic compressor used in the Audi SQ7. Standard automatic gearbox. There's only one choice of transmission, an 8-speed automatic box that merges together its ratios in a smooth and, for the most part, timely fashion, providing you're driving in an equally tranquil manner. When pushing on we found the gearbox wasn't quite as proactive as it could be, made worse by the absence of steering wheel paddles for those moments when you want to take over. Comfort is the watchword with this large estate, but it's more successful with adaptive suspension. All-wheel drive is standard on top-line D5 models. Volvo's description of the V90's handling is relaxed confidence, and this seems quite fitting. Slower steering with little feedback through the wheel means you can't hustle it like its sportier BMW 5 Series touring rival, but good body control allows you to make quick progress on a flowing road. Based on the XC90's architecture, the Volvo V90 is very similar in the way it drives, although the estate car's lower center of gravity lends it a less really-pally character. On adaptive air suspension it dealt with lumps and bumps with sublime control, practically floating over rough roads when the drive mode was left in its native comfort setting. You can tighten things up with dynamic mode, but there's no getting around the V90's size and weight. This is no agile hatchback. The D5's all-wheel drive system finds masses of traction but gives way to the nose-washing wide if you dial in a little too much speed. The standard suspension arrangement isn't as sophisticated, and consequently neither is the ride quality. It's not uncomfortable, but you're significantly more aware of rougher road surfaces, so upgrade to the adaptive arrangement if your budget will stretch to it. Key to getting the best out of your V90 according to Volvo's chassis engineers is to stick with 19-inch wheels. These give the best balance of appearance, handling and ride comfort. Well-made cabin employs high-quality materials. Central touchscreen replaces much of the switchgear. Very similar layout to the XC90 SUV's interior. Climb aboard the Volvo V90 and you'll appreciate that the cabin is full of lovely materials, from soft leather to crosscut wood inserts with the grain lined up diagonally. It's strikingly bare as well. Most of the controls and buttons have been migrated to the central screen, so the cabin looks simple but elegant and really attractive. If you've been in an XC90 you might get a sense of déjà vu, so similar are their cabins. It's very easy to get comfortable thanks to a squashy yet supportive driver's seat that offers plenty of adjustment. The digital dashboard is bright and clear and just as uncluttered as the rest of the cockpit. Comfort is amplified by the optional air suspension. Volvo's seats continue to be the industry benchmark. Lots of space for passengers, especially in the rear. Given our findings in the handling section, you'd imagine that comfort would be an area where the Volvo V90 excels, and you would be right, with one caveat. The adaptive air suspension setup is very comfortable indeed, gliding over tarmac imperfections with little hassle and isolating larger bumps to a corner of the car rather than it reverberating around the cabin. Stick with the standard steel springs, and while it's not uncomfortable, You're aware of ruts in the road being telegraphed to your posterior. Noise-wise, there's very little intrusion from the D4 and D5 engines, which go about their business with incredible discretion. The seats are nothing short of being supremely comfortable, as you'd expect from Volvo, and unsurprisingly considering the length of the V90, you get acres of space when sitting in the back. High level of standard equipment inscription likely to be the popular choice. Wide range of option packs available. Nice and simple here, with 3 V90 trim levels to choose from in a similar vein to the larger XC90's lineup. Of the momentum, inscription and redesign guises, Volvo expects the middle-ranking one to be the most popular. Standard Volvo V90 estate equipment entry-level momentum cars come with a good specification, including a full European sat-nav with traffic information and mapping updates on a 9.0-inch screen. You also get the very cool Pilot Assist, a semi-autonomous system that controls of the steering, accelerator and brakes for you at speeds below 80 miles per hour. You have to keep your hands on the wheel, but it certainly takes the effort out of motorway cruising and queuing. High-tech kit includes Sensus Connect, which provides a connection to the internet and a range of apps. It also enables the car to book itself into a garage when it needs a service. Other highlights include LED headlights with active high beam, DAB radio and Bluetooth connectivity, two-zone climate control, powered tailgate and folding rear seat mechanism, 17-inch alloy wheels, 18-inch with the D5 engine, digital instrumentation, leather upholstery and heated front seats. Boost the levels of luxury with inscription trim, which adds Napa leather upholstery, powered front seats with driver's side memory, a larger 12.3-inch screen for the dashboard, keyless entry and start, hands-free tailgate operation, 18-inch alloys and walnut interior inlays. Those seeking a sportier look should consider their design. It features lowered suspension, a subtle body kit hallmarked by a black mesh grille and 18-inch matte black alloys, while inside it differs from the inscription thanks to its sport seats, nubuck leather upholstery and dark interior trims. Optional Volvo V90 estate accessories as well as a number of individual options for tailoring your Volvo V90, such as a range of wheels from 17 to 21 inches. There are 4 main packs containing desirable upgrades. The winter pack comes with heated windscreen, steering wheel and washer nozzles, plus a headlight cleaning system. Winter Plus features the aforementioned gadgets plus active dynamic headlights and LED front fog lights with cornering function. The family pack gets you integrated Tostage booster cushions on the outer rear seats, plus powered child locks and sun curtains for the rear doors. Finally, the futuristic-sounding Xenium pack comes with a powered tilt-and-slide panoramic sunroof, 360-degree view parking camera and an automatic parking system. One of the safest cars tested by Euro NCAP. Years of safety research encompassed in the V90. Additional safety tech optionally available. Volvo V90 safety was commended for one of the highest scores yet attained in its Euro NCAP crash test. Hardly a surprise given that the Swedish marque has long been at the forefront of this field. Standard safety equipment includes a voice control system, run off-road protection, which automatically tightens the front seat belts if the car leaves the road, and the city safety suite. This gets you pedestrian, cyclist and large animal detection and front collision warning with autonomous emergency braking. You also get the semi-autonomous Pilot Assist, which takes care of the steering, throttle and brakes from traffic jams to motorway cruising speed. Volvo is keen to point out this is not a completely autonomous driving system, you still have to keep a hand on the wheel. It works well at low speeds, taking the monotony out of creeping around in traffic, but it needs increased steering input at speed. We also found it had a tendency to make the car sit much further left in the lane than we felt comfortable with. Ample space for passengers, with generous rear legroom boot space lags behind rivals, slinkier rear impinges on capacity. Simple flap in the boot floor is an effective load space divider. Once upon a time, Swedish estates had about as much space as a spare bedroom, so it's disappointing to discover that the practicality of the Volvo V90 has been compromised by its styling. The culprit is the sloping roofline and angled tailgate, no perpendicular rear end here. It looks sleeker, but with only 560 liters of boot space, it lags behind the Audi A6 Avant, BMW 5 Series Touring and Mercedes-Benz A-Class Estate. Drop the rear seats and this expands to 1,526 liters. It's not small, by any means, but far from class-leading. Still, it does have the simple yet clever pop-up section of boot floor to use as a divider, preventing things sliding around too much.